Another session. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and like this channel. And in this video today, we're gonna learn some basics of Power Query Editor. So I will tell you about some basic functions of Power Query tool, like how can we clean our data, and mostly I will tell you about a calendar table. How can we build a calendar table in Power Query mode, right? So without wasting any time, let's quickly start how we can build an entire calendar table on the Power Query editor, and respectively I will also show you some basic functions which we can use for our data cleaning purpose in Power Query. So let's start with a new blank query right here, right? So it's a blank query, and to list the calendar table, like your model has the date of 2015 to 20, or let's say your data has of 1 year, 2 year, or whatever you have to analyze your data. So you can only build the calendar table for that particular year. So there is a the code which we have typed here, just list dot dates. We have to type in this uh, column, in this box, list dot dates. Okay, it's doing syntax error. Don't worry. List dot dates. Yes, it's already two times. So we have to remove one list from here. Okay, now, yeah. So now you are seeing it's invoked parameter in which we have to fill the details. As you can see here, list dates from and the to date till which you want to fill. So for an example here, you have to write your starting year. uh, let's say for an example, I am building my model for the year of 2022. So the start date will be 1st of Jan 2022, right? Now the count is here. Count means you have to put the year number of days in which you want your count to be. So like for an example, a year has 365 days count, right? So you just put simply and step 1. 1 means for the 1 year in, and if I put 2 here, so that will consider this calendar table for 2 years. For example, 1st Jan 2022 to 31st of December 2023, right? So step 1, it will consider it for the 1 year, right? Wait, I need to just close it. Okay, connect. Okay, as you can see here, my date has been generated. There is a column that is list, and it contains 365 rows, which and the last one is 31st of December 2022, right? So this is how you can generate the list of entire calendar table, and on the basis of this we will generate our table. So like in this box, if you want to do some modifications, you can directly do from here. Like query 1 is here. This is a query 1 that is contains the date, which is the starting date 1/1/2022. Let's suppose I have to start my year from 1st of April 2022, right? So I can directly change here. This is the 1st of April, and April is a fourth month, so I will put 4 here, and count is always same, 365 day count. And I have to build 1 year table, so 1, and you can also put 2 here, right? But for now I am just building for 1 year, and if I put enter here, so you can see the starting date is 1st of April 104 2022, and the end is 31st of March 2023, right? So let's show you 31st of March 2023. So this is how you can arrange your dates in the modeling tab, in the data tab. So for the simplicity, I'm just doing it for Jan, right? So this is Jan. Now, what is the next step you have to do? This is generated a query actually. It's not a table, not a any function based table. So we have to first convert it into a table. As you are seeing in left corner, this is the convert to table. So this is simply a query right now. So select or enter delimiter if you want to delimit this column on the basis of any separator. You can delete it, but yeah, you can just simply go with the OK because there is no error, and it just can generated the column, right? Now what is our next step? As you can see here, it has been generated and converted into a table. Now it's a table, and we can rename this table, or let's say I called it the calendar table, right? I'm just rename it calendar table, capital C and it's the T. Okay. Now our next step is that I want to use some functions here. On the basis of that, I can on the basis of this column, I will add more columns in that calendar table, because this date is not only enough. Let's suppose I have to uh, get a column of month, which month this dates month in front of every date, year as well, and the day name as well. This is how you want to show in your model. So first of all, I go to add column table, and this you are seeing transform tab and add column tab. So what is the major difference between between two tabs is that the transform tab basically transform the column. It doesn't add actually a new column, it just transform these data. So I will show you in next step. For as of now, I'm showing you add column function, right? So as you are seeing, this is the date table, and I am adding a new column on the basis of date function, right? So I just fetch from this function here. As you can see, we fetched year. So it just fetched the year and it generated a new column. But before that, what you have to do, as you are seeing, the data type is not defined here, so I have to define it as a date. So it will automatically work with the date function, and we call this column as date, right? Now we are okay with our process, right? So add column basically tab, it adds the column. Transform column is what do, it will just transform the column, right? So let's suppose in the add column tab, you're seeing this date. So you can basically fetch the columns from based on a existing column. This is the main column, date column. So I already fetched the year. Suppose I have to fetch month, or let's say name of the month, right? So this is the month of the name of month, and similarly I have to fetch the name of the day, so I fetch the name of the day, right? And what are the other options you can do, like it's showing week of the month, week of the year, and end of the week, what is whatever it is, like. And you can similarly fetch quarter as well, and start of month, end of month, and in this way you can fetch these things, right? So this is the use of add column function, and you can see there are some more options. This is the extract option. And so what actually extract option does, right? Let's suppose I have this column month name. I don't want month name in full in full spelling. I just want three characters of this from this column. So I go with extract function. So it will show me length, first character, last character, range, text before delimiter or something. So delimiter, we don't have any delimiter in this spelling. So I just have to fetch first three characters from each word, right? So if you go with the first three character, first length, so how many characters you want to fetch? So I just put three over here, because I need only three characters, right? Now you can see this, right? It just fetch three characters from each column. Now what is the difference between this? Now you can see it adds another column in our table. But what if I don't want to add this column? So that is not ideally a good practice. Like if you just want to do this, so instead of this, what I will do, I am removing this column. I don't go with the add column option, I go with transform option. And similarly here is also a extract option, right? So just I go with first characters and I put 3. So now you see what is. Now here you can see that that was a column which has full month spelling, full month name, but now it fetch transform this column into first three characters, right? So this is the difference when you have to go with add column and the transform tab function. So there are mostly some of the similar functions which like you see extract functions and some of the columns which you want to based on that, and the transform is also similarly. If you want day's name to be in first three characters, so you can also extract only this column by directly putting the number of length which you want. So instead of adding a new column, then you can then you will delete that earlier column, so it will consume more time. So this is the way to build your calendar table, right? And let's suppose if you do any operation with this date, so it will transform this column as well. So you have to decide in which scenario you are using this, right? So quarter of the year, I also want this. So Jan is the first quarter, so I'll put here. Now this is a calendar table. We have all the required information. If you want some more kind of columns from the date, you can also perform your task accordingly, right? So this is the use of transform and add column function. Now what is the next function I'm going to show you? That is the use of column from example. This is the most useful function sometimes basically. So let's show you how we can do this, right? So let's say I have this column where just fetch this, okay, extract it first three characters. So I'm just deleting this step because I don't want this extracting step, right? I'm just cancelling it, column. Now you see the month is here. Now is I just got the full name of the month here. Now if I use column from example from selection, I'm just going with this. So it will what do? It will also this function also perform based on a calculation actually. So this is month name is my selected month, selected column, and by giving an example from this column to fetch the data from this column based on an example, so it will directly automatically get the data on the basis of this. It will also perform calculation based functions as well. So right, I in as you can see in first row, I give an example to write Jan. Instead of January, I give an example to put Jan here, right? And now you can see it automatically reads what actually I am trying to fetch, right? But in the March, it doesn't actually reading it properly. It's showing me March full, right? So based on a first column example, it doesn't actually reading properly. If I put Jan again here, now see what? No, it's not. So let's say I am putting MAR here, right? So now you're seeing it's getting columns actually. Okay, wonderful. Now it's reading that I want to fetch only three characters from all the columns. If I click on OK, Let's see if it is worked or not. Yes, it understands my example, and all the columns are here with the three characters of a month, right? So it is example. So let's say if I have to, if I want to uh, perform this task based on a calculation, it's not only want calculation, actually it also want understand the calculation as well. So in first row I am putting 2022 plus 1, right? So I want this quarter and year to be added, right? 2002 to 1, and it's reading that in similar way. So where is quarter 2? Here. So it adds that, right? I put OK here. So it will add a new column in that way, right? 2002 plus 1 plus 1. So if you want some mathematical operations, it will also work in that scenarios, right? So I hope you understand how you can build an entire calendar table from the Power Query tool as well, right? And then you can close and apply, and then you can directly make a relationship from this table to your model, and this will separately work to your calendar table, right? So thank you so much for watching this video, and please subscribe for more videos.